Hello, and welcome to Living the Tao.
I'm Master Mikel Steenrod.
And I'm Morgan. Thank you for taking a walk with us today. Today we're going to discuss the weather, which is very appropriate today, and health. What is the impact of weather on our health and well-being and anything else?
It's kind of a huge discipline.
Well, you always say
some
that,
of which has overlaps into Taoism and some of which does not. So,
well, let's narrow it down. When a Taoist walks out and sees and senses a certain weather condition, what does it mean? Maybe that didn't narrow it down enough.
No, that didn't narrow it down at all.
All right.
So, what's the recommended behavior? What's the impact upon a certain group? Any one of those things can be part of that response. So,
does the weather have a spiritual or energetic influence on us and on our lives?
Well, it definitely has an energetic influence on our lives.
Okay.
Spiritual influence would depend on how you are going to define that.
Okay. Well, let's go with that. What's the energetic influence on our lives from the weather?
You would have to look at things that are harsh for the time of year and the balance. So whenever you're looking at mismatches, that's where you have your biggest challenge to your internal reserves and internal balance.
Oh, okay.
So let's say you have a winter day where normally your winters average 36 degrees, but it's suddenly 82 degrees on that given day. And I mention this as a reference because this actually happened in Flagstaff just a few weeks ago. And that's going to be very demanding for a person because the change is ahistorical. It doesn't fit the historical trend. And it's very rapid. And those are two things that humans have a great deal of difficulty with. With dealing with stressors, humans are capable of the many species, because we're such generalists, of adapting to very wide fluctuations.
Okay.
But not quickly. So in order for us to adapt well, we need time to transition from one state to another. If we do it quickly, the personal cost for that skyrockets. We can adapt to it, but each one of those is a hit to our resources. And you can think of this it generalizes out, so you can think of this for any portion in your life. If you've been hit with a series of repeated stressors in a short period of time, you could have handled any one of those, let's say, solo.
If it was by itself.
By itself.
Yeah.
You could have handled them if they were spread out over time.
Right.
But stuck together, and let's say they're like mid-level stressors.
Yeah.
Stuck together, it suddenly becomes depleting and burdensome to try to deal with them or catch up to it.
Yeah.
And so
it's a snowball effect in a sense.
Right, and weather provides us with those opportunities. And it's the same thing, that stressor. When I say stressor, everybody instantly assumes I'm talking about a negative particular thing. But if you look at most of the psychological measures of stressors, positive things are also stressors. They're challenges to the system. You might enjoy them and look forward to it, but you still have to do the same type of backflips in order to get yourself to deal with them.
Well, even in your example, the nice day in the middle of winter is very demanding.
It's very demanding. People are going to struggle to adapt to it. You're going to see a lot of mood shifts, which would normally be unreasonable for an individual, but they're flying off the handle. their behavior is chaotic, or they withdraw. And those are all parts of a system struggling to adapt to the weather conditions. So in part, the Taoist perspective is that the change of weather by itself is irrelevant. It's the speed of change and how well it matches the environment and the season. So if by environment, let's say we're in the Arctic and suddenly it's 80 degrees, and you hang out in the Arctic semi-regularly, you know, some people do, and you walk out and it's like, this is an 80-degree day in the Arctic. That's going to have a tremendous impact, not just on you, but on all the creatures and plants that happen to be about. And so it's mismatches which are the challenge for humans to deal with, regardless of whether or not they're positive or negative.
I see.
So you can really enjoy having that nice 80-degree day in winter, but at the same time, you have to deal with the 80-degree day in winter. And also at some part, creeping into the back of your mind is the thought, it should not be 80 degrees in winter. This is bad, even though I'm enjoying it.
That's like dichotomy. Yes, you could think of it in a sense. You could think of it as a migration paradigm. Like humans were used to migrating from one climate to another over a long period of time, but they weren't used to being shocked with a sudden climate change or something.
Well, and from a Taoist perspective, whenever we're forced to go through a shock change like that, it decreases your lifespan. And so each one of those is like a big draw upon the self in order to try to deal with it. So you can replace the resources that are used by that, but that requires formal practice or a very well-conditioned lifestyle.
Wow.
And since most people don't have that, they have an average lifestyle determined by their surroundings and or environment. And I'm not even talking about the natural world. You repeat the lifestyle of the people that are around you for the most part. And
we're not even necessarily talking about weather now. It could be just life troubles.
Therein is where the Taoism is. We're not talking about the weather when we're talking about the weather. We're talking about the mismatches. Humans should be able to tolerate those adjustments done on a historical scale within a given environment without any issue. Anytime you have a sharp division, you're challenging lifespan. So, or worse yet, quality of life. Because, you know, if you have a long lifespan but your quality of life is horrible, then that's not really a desirable circumstance either. And so, from the Taoist perspective, are there ways of maximizing each one of those seasons? Yeah, like I said, it's a discipline. But if you were really to look at, well, what's the standout portion of the discipline for modern time, it would be rapid shocks. And rapid shocks are difficult to do. And the truth is, you kind of have a limited number of them that you can do.
They're like concussions.
Yeah, they add up. So, if you're looking for having a solid quality of life throughout your entire lifespan, and you want a good length of life, then you have to minimize shocks as much as you can. And
because they're so demanding.
They're so demanding. Or if you are in a position where you have experienced those shocks, and you know if you have or you haven't, you need to make lifestyle adjustments to allow the body to recover from it. Because even if it's been years since you've gone through that sequence, you can look at yourself, and you can look at your fellows that have not experienced those shocks, and you can see the difference. And that is because a portion of you has become depleted or used by that process. And so now you have to restore.
Yeah.
And an easy pathway for that is either Qigong or diet. So.
Yes. All right, so from weather to longevity through a considered and maybe not careful, but considered lifestyle. Interesting. Very good.
Yeah, good.